Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations live on Friday night. It is Friday, December 3rd. I should always be able to remember that because we're doing the 12 days of Christmas. So if you guys have not seen, on my Facebook page every day, there's a logo that says 12 days of Christmas giveaway. And right below that post, I'll give you a specific time that you need to tune in. And we are giving away some incredible gifts for the 12 days of Christmas. Each day the gift gets better and better. So if you guys haven't participated, jump in and do that. For example, tomorrow, I'm not sure when it'll go out, but tomorrow at a specific time, you tune in, and for basically like what, 0 to 15 minutes, we just talk about Christmas traditions. I give you a small tour of an area of my house, and then we do the giveaway. So it's super fun. Tonight, we're kind of taking it out a little bit. We're moving out of the Christmas genre, and I know we're just starting Christmas, and getting prepared for winter. So this is going to be a Winter Cardinal Wreath. I'm using a sign. This is a 10-inch round, my all-time favorite round signs, from Personalize It by Pam. So if you like the sign, hop over to her shop. I'm sure Steve will post the link. It's on Etsy, and she's got some amazing signs. And like I said, 10-inch rounds are perfect for just about every single wreath frame size that you could potentially want to put together. So we're kind of doing this in a winter color scheme. We're going to pop a little bit of the green into it, but predominantly it's going to be red, white, and black. I'm using a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. And I'm going to go ahead and finish wiring the last section, which is the exact same way I'm going to teach you how to do this. So without further ado, we are going to take the black pipe cleaner, and what I'm going to do is just use my weld marks to give me a middle point. So if I use those, I should be able to kind of put this right in the middle of the two of those, and I'm wiring together the inside two rails. There's 4 that go around a Dollar Tree wreath frame, and so that's what we're doing now. Red, white, black. We're doing red here, and now I'm going to use that center one and the weld and kind of find a halfway point and wire together the two outside. So as you can see, it's kind of in the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. And we're going to do the same on the other side. That way, there is 3 pipe cleaners in each section, 12 to the outside, 6 on the inside for a grand total of 18. And we're going to go ahead and start putting our mesh in. I am using a fabric mesh, the black and red buffalo plaid, buffalo check. This is from Hobby Lobby. These are cut to 20-inch pieces, and we're just going to ruffle all of these. And we are going to place them finish side, which means not where you cut it, finish side facing the inside and then facing the outside. Why do I do that? Because it is designed not to fray on those ends. It only frays where you cut it. And on a fabric mesh, you can't really cut this with a wood burning tool. You have to use a rotary cutter. So you're going to go ahead and rotary cut that. And so by putting the sides on the inside, it's less likely that the customer is going to, fluff and play with this side, because those are kind of tucked into the middle. Now I'm going to be removing my inside pipe cleaners as I work my way around, putting my Deco mesh in. Move those out of the way. And we're going to do this a total of 18 different times. So this is the part of our live where you guys can ask me questions. I'd be happy to answer anything that you guys have.
It's Friday, so feel free to like and share.
That's true. So if you like this design and want to replicate it once you order all of your materials, just click the share button. It'll put it on your page, and then that way it's there on your Facebook page when you're ready to go ahead and assemble and put everything together.
Anna sent 500 stars. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you guys for reminding me. Okay, so the cutoff for supporting a family for Christmas is December 12th. And this way it allows the parents to have plenty of time to purchase gifts and to get their holiday dinners together. So the December fundraising that we are doing, which is the Facebook stars, this can only be done while you're on Facebook or while watching this video at any time. The little stars icon at the bottom represents 1 penny. So if you donated 50 stars, that's 50 cents towards the fundraiser. And what the fundraiser is going to be utilized for is to help a family out for Christmas to be able to receive gift cards to go out and buy for their kids, buy for their family. Kind of makes the parents feel, I don't know, better about having to ask for help.
We asked, so it's okay to use poinsettias in winter designs?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. There's some people who grow poinsettias year round in their greenhouse. Yeah. And
Here's why I love the sign, because cardinals are awesome.
yes, so I did a little study on cardinals before I went live today. And so cardinals are basically considered, when you see a cardinal, those that you have lost, when you see them, it's supposed to be a sign that they are near, or their angels are near, to let you know that everything is fine, that they are okay. So I found that that was kind of comforting, especially, you know, for some people going into the holiday season, experiencing a loss that year, it might be a very difficult Christmas for them. So this is our way of honoring that.
Karen asked you to use the wood bar or the mesh.
No, because this has cotton fibers in it that run both horizontally and vertically. So you have to use the old rotary cutter. So I'm trying to think. Also, cardinals during the winter season, having that bright red color reminds people that in the bleakness of winter, where all you see is snow and there's no leaves on the trees, no flowers, they are a bright spot that signifies or symbolizes joy and hope, that even though there's winter, spring is coming. So
that's awesome. She said her mom comes by daily then, because I guess she has cardinals.
Oh, that's super cool. I love that idea. So even this, once we finish the design, I mean, there's people who can find ways to incorporate, keeping the memory close. Like we have a mini, what do you call it, like a pencil Christmas tree in our bedroom that we decorate in remembrance of Steve's parents that we've lost over, what is it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So we keep their memory close. So we put things his dad made, and of course we have little angel ornaments, and we have cardinals on the tree. So it's just nice to have that so that we're honoring their memory during the season. So.
No problem, Nancy. She said Facebook is giving her issues. I'm not telling about her notifications, so she's on her iPad. Brenda said, so glad I caught you live. Love watching you.
Thanks, Brenda.
Loretta said, I love the wreath on the wall behind you. What is it called, and is it on one of your videos?
Don't think it's on one of my videos. It's actually a Believe wreath. So what you see is the gold deer.
Yeah.
And it's all done in a red, cream, and black, and gold.
And the sign says Believe.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know I started pulling some of my older designs and bringing them back up front and just reevaluating things. And that's still one of my favorites that stays in our, I never know, what do you call the room where you don't sit? Like if you have a space in your house and that's not where you watch TV, it's kind of like the formal. It's not even formal, because we don't.
Family room, that's the living room.
So define what separates a family room from a living room, because I see living room is where you spend most of your time, but then there's family. Like, do you just gather in the family room, but you live in the living room? What do you call that? I never understood that. Never got that whole idea. You know, we always had that room in our house, which is nobody went in that room except during the holidays.
Did you ever know this is not a pancake wreath?
Nope. So the difference between this and a pancake wreath is a pancake wreath would have 6 on the inside and 6 on the outside. So basically 1 pipe cleaner on the inside rails and 1 pipe cleaner on the outside. And basically they're staggered to where they just barely overlap. This one has 6 more to kind of help beef up the thickness on the wreath.
Tara says I get us cardinals every year.
Nice. We don't have cardinals here.
No.
We need to move where we can enjoy cardinals. I love what they look like.
And then Tara also asks, is this the best technique to fit in between the door and the screen?
It depends on what you put in it.
Yeah.
So it depends on how full you go. I think by the time we add a bow and all of our embellishments, it hits the 6-inch mark. Or it might just come like just over 5.5. It's like between 5.5 and 6. But you could, as long as you kept your embellishments and everything very low, and depending upon the thickness between your storm door and your front door, because they vary. Some people do 3, some people can go up to 4 inches. So just kind of figure out what your dimensions are, and then just kind of monitor what you're doing. You might have to make a flatter bow.
Sandra, you can buy the sign. I pinned it at the bottom. Looks like it should be there. It's from Personalize It by Pam on Etsy.
On Etsy, yes.
It's a 10-inch round.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, I think a lot of the sign makers are starting to gravitate to the 10-inch rounds over the 12-inch. Because the 12-inch were almost a little too big. So the 10-inch is like just right. It's like Goldilocks signs. Just perfect. So we're almost finished. We have a couple more pieces. And I love this mesh. This buffalo plaid mesh that Hobby Lobby comes out with is my favorite to use every Christmas. Whenever they have it out, I'm like the first to go and pick up about 6 rolls, because I know I'll use it in angel tree toppers. I'll use it in all my farmhouse designs. Not all, but some. It's perfect for a winter wreath. It's great for a Christmas farmhouse country wreath.
Yeah, Sue and Judy kind of feel the same way I do.
What's that?
The living room is kind of like a more formal room.
Okay.
And the family room is where you sit and gather and watch TV, where the couches are. And the dining room is where we have our day.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I think. But then what if you have 2 eating areas? Do you have like a formal dining room?
Yeah, we have a
And then you just have like a...
it's funny,
I
we
know.
never use the table in the kitchen.
We don't. We never use the table here in the kitchen. Ever. Ever. We use the formal dining room, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. It's mostly for staging, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Looks. It's all staged for Christmas decor.
Oh, I know, this isn't a pancake wreath, but she was talking about the difference between a pancake wreath and the wreath she's doing right now.
Yeah, so a pancake wreath has just enough ruffles to cover, which if you're using a thin deco mesh, it may not be enough coverage. You might be able to see the frame underneath. It just depends on what you're going to choose to do with it afterwards.
In the pancake, it's like 30 inches for a cut, right? It's longer.
It depends on your mesh.
Yeah.
So usually it's only 6 on the inside and 6 on the outside, but I do 12 to the outside and then 6 on the inside. Similar, but not quite. It almost looks like it.
Regina said, I love your technique on how you explain step by step.
Yeah, I try. It's funny though, because sometimes you get some people who respond to your video and they're like, come on, move on, get along, speed it up. And it's like, the reason why you make tutorials is so people can learn as though they're watching this for the first time. And I realize that there's some people who have seen this for the last 4 years, but then again, it might be somebody else's first time catching that video. So we always go over all the same stuff. And the great thing about replays is you can move that button forward to get to that point. You know, figure out what they're doing, figure out the type, fast forward it till the mesh is built, you know, and then just watch what parts you need out of the video. Last piece. It's always fun to find the last pipe cleaner. Put that one on. Okay. Yeah, we are done with building our base. Let me just fix this one. The one I picked up and moved. So yes, it does seem like pancake, but this is going to be about 1/3 thicker than a pancake wreath would look like. And we'll try to get to one of those probably more into like 2022. Maybe we'll do it for a Valentine's Day wreath. So make sure all your pipe cleaners that remain are easily able to be found by pulling them to the outside. It just makes it easier for when you add your ribbon, tails, and bows, or whatever you're going to add. You know right where those are at. So, ribbon choices for this one. Super simple. Let's do these one at a time. We have white fur-edged cardinals on the berry branches. That is from Fifth Street Studios. They have their own website, which is shopfifthstreet.com. Then we're going to follow that up, trying to separate these, with some buffalo plaid with some snowflakes. So these are what we are going to alternate all the way around the outside 12. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do to kind of change up our look. Now, if you notice this buffalo plaid with the snowflake, it's a dual ribbon. So if you like snowflakes, you have the snowflake side. Don't love snowflakes, just flip it over to the other side. So it's a dual-sided ribbon, which is super nice. And this, where did the 2.5 buffalo plaid come from?
That came from Craft Outlet.
Craft Outlet?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Okay. So I always fold them in half, and then I just kind of bend them so that the tails will fan to the outside. And then we just add one to every pipe cleaner, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do as we go through our design. So I'm always making sure that, because we have those cut edges, I'm always making sure that those are folded down. So let's do this. Fold it in half. These are cut to 14-inch pieces. From the middle, you just go ahead and gather and then just bend it. Lay it directly inside your pipe cleaner. I'm not going to undo it. Give it a couple twists. And then as you're ready to fan it out, like right now it's laying almost like with a divot on the inside, just put your hands underneath and pop that out so that it has a nicer way of laying rather than a little concave area. So we'll go all the way around, fit these in the exact same way. Okay. Being really careful as you're moving your mesh, because you're disrupting those cut edges. So just be super careful. Okay, pop those back up so they fan out. Let's find, that one's inside. Let me find this one. It's laying too far back. Okay, up and over. There we go. Straight up and down. Okay. Back in, bend down. Okay. What do you guys think?
The black and red fabric deco mesh is cut to 20 inches.
Did I say that? I think I did.
I think you did earlier. Yeah.
I apologize if I did not.
No, there's people coming in late.
So, and if you cut them to the 20-inch pieces, you use up exactly one roll of deco mesh with nothing left over, which is always nice. As a new wreath maker, I used to hate that, having all these little fractions of rolls left over. And you don't want to throw it out because you're like, I just spent all that money on deco mesh. You know? Put that one down. Okay, this one needs to go under and back on top. Sometimes the ones in the middle get on top of the ones that are on the outside.
Barbara said, love that dual ribbon. I've never seen that.
Isn't that pretty? There's so many ribbons now that are coming with dual sides. So that just makes them a lot nicer. And then remember, depending upon your technique on building the wreath, I know sometimes it's really hard to justify spending $15, $16 on a roll of ribbon. But if you're only going to use 6 pieces, plus whatever you put into the bow, you can have a lot left over. So it's a really good justification. That's what I've been teaching members of my Wreath of the Month group, where we go through and we design. You know, we started off with basic designs, and we're starting now to get more complex, which is, why do you do 4 rolls of ribbon, or why do you do 6 rolls of ribbon? It's because you use less and you have more of it left over. And you get a more diverse design. It looks a lot nicer because you have different patterns, different colors, different textures. 2 more to go. And we'll go up here. It's hard to believe. I'm actually making my first Valentine's Day wreath tomorrow. Wow.
Regina, that's a great comment. She said, you are such an inspiration. I made a couple of wreaths with your technique and they turned out perfect. Thank you for teaching us.
Oh, thank you. I try to just remember. I always try really hard to remember what it was like when I was learning the very first time. And when everything was very, you know, I understand what it is, you know, to work within the limitations of a budget. So we try to be very understanding of that as well. Okay. Fan that one. All right, that's the outside. We are going to place the red, white, and black plaid on top of our cardinals. And then we're going to do something a little bit different for our buffalo plaid section. So let me go ahead and put these in first. So a half bow. Call it a half bow because there's only one loop. So what it is you take a 15-inch piece of 1.5 inch ribbon, you dovetail your ends, so these are already done. Then you put your ends together. You'll go up about 2 inches from the top. You pinch that in, and then you're going to take that and place that right inside that pipe cleaner. And we're going to go ahead and give it a couple twists to make sure it does not come undone. You're going to take what little stem you have, that's going to go behind your loop. You'll open your loop. You have to right side one of the tails, because remember we put them face down. And then it just kind of turns into a like 3D awareness bow. So it's a half bow because it only has one loop. I think of a bow as having 2 loops. So we're going to put that on all of the cardinal pieces. So I'm going to do these real quick.
Valerie, it depends on the wreath that she does in the Wreath of the Month Club, but she actually teaches all the different techniques in her private group.
And yeah, so if you guys want to get in on the Wreath of the Month, not the Wreath of the Month, the private group, we are starting again in January. We do this every January. We go back to what we call back to basics. We cover everything from color theory to ribbon selection to deco mesh types to deco mesh methods to wreath frame types. It's like a really concentrated course that is geared every week to teach you not just the techniques, but why. Like, why would you use this method? Why would you pick this one over that one? Why would you pick this deco mesh over that deco mesh? So it's a great opportunity for you guys to do that. I have 2 ways for you to join. You can do monthly at $17 a month, or you can do yearly and pay for 10 months and get 2 months free. And those classes begin again in January. I love doing those classes because if we come across a wreath method, a new one, then that gets incorporated, that changes. So the class is not like static, where it's just, oh, here's the same course she's taught since 2018. It evolves as things change.
Regina said, love your budget, helps me as well.
Yeah, I love sticking into my budget too. I still keep a budget. Okay, 2 more. So we'll add these. We'll see how thick.
Sharon earlier said she loves little houses up on the top of the cabinets.
My Christmas villages. Yeah.
And she asked, what theme do you use for January, New Year's, or snowflakes and snowmen? It's a winter.
Yeah, I have a tendency of trying to do more of a winter. Snowmen can incorporate because you still have snow all through the winter. Obviously, this is my first cardinal design. I'm trying to think.
Cardinal one a year or 2 ago.
We haven't done a cardinal one. Do you think we have? Okay.
You put a wreath with cardinals in it.
But I don't think it was like specifically themed. Yeah. Maybe.
Sue, no, you do not have to rejoin if you're already a member.
Nope.
You'll just either... You
get the new organic course that kicks off, I'm trying to think, January 1st is going to be a Saturday, so it would be, I'm trying to think. Is January 1st a Saturday this year? I think it would be January 2nd is when the course will start. I think it's January 2nd. Because I think Christmas this year falls on a Saturday, and I think so does New Year's Day.
New Year's Day falls on a Saturday.
Okay, so the class starts January 2nd.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're already enrolled, you get the new course.
Unless you're in the year, then you'd have to sign up again for a new year, right?
Yeah, if it expires.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so last ribbon selection. So we're going to do a green, and this one's really pretty because it has like a iridescent thread through. And it's just the solid green. It's popping the green into this design. 18-inch pieces here, and then we're doing some mistletoe, berries, and different types of cedar and regular pine. And we're going to do what's called a double bow. So we're going to put double bows on top of our plaid. And what a double bow is, it's basically 2 half bows put together. So you start off with your half bow, and then you're going to make another one.
Linda, yep, if you're in the monthly private group, the monthly will just keep going month to month.
Mm-hmm.
If you paid for the full year, then you'll just have to request to pay for the full year again.
Okay, so half and half, put them together, and that's what's called a double bow. Why is it called a double bow when there's only 2 loops? Because it has 4 tails. And so we put those together, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're finished. We will sandwich those, tuck that behind our loops. Let's go ahead and get this situated. So, fluffing the double bows. So here's one, here's the other. So you open your loops. You're going to have to right side your half bow. So here's your double tails on the green. And then we're going to double and fix this one. And then we have a double bow. So I love these. You can't do 2 double bows on the same because they would just, there's not enough space for them. So you can do like 1 double bow and then a half bow. But that's how we're going to pop that green into this design, besides it just being in our what do you call it? Mistletoe, the poinsettias. So we're gonna do these.
Anna, yeah, you sure can. She asked, can you switch from monthly to yearly?
Absolutely, at any time. Yep, that, I didn't even know that when I first signed up for my coaching group. I was just like, okay, I'll go month to month, because I always thought that would be a great place to start. And then for the longest time, I didn't know they had yearly rates. So I reached out to them and I was like, do you have a discount if you decide to do it a year in advance? And they were like, yeah. It was the same thing. Pay for 10 months and get 2 months free. And I'm like, I could have saved a lot of money by doing that.
So all you have to do is email or PM Kat if you want to switch from monthly to yearly.
Yep. Just tell me, hey, I want to go yearly. I'll send you the link to go yearly. And then we will migrate you over into the yearly plan. And then you're good for like a whole nother year. Okay, so we're going to pop these ones. Same. So this looks so nice. Can't wait to see what it looks like once we add the sign to the center. And then you get to see if all the colors you picked out actually work into that design.
And Sue said they love the double bow technique.
I love double bows. So what I have a tendency of doing too is I switch them. So like on the first one, I did the mistletoe to the right. Now I'm doing it to the left, and now I'll go back doing it to the right again. So there's like a little variation between the double bows, so they're not identical all the way around. So it's just those nice little details that you can make into your design.
Karen Sanders Jones said your technique on wreaths is my favorite style.
Aw, thanks, Karen.
I'm new to your private group. I am so excited to start in January.
Well, you're in the private group now, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, starting all over again to the back to basics. Yeah. Kind of take it with like a little bit of a military theme with it, you know, because it's like basic training. It just kind of, because a lot of us when we start, you know, we may have been like someone who favored grapevines and they want to dabble in Deco mesh, or someone who just did evergreen Zan grapevines, or maybe you've never have the courage to take on doing a floral or an evergreen. So my goal is to give you the confidence and help you build what would be called a wreath maker's resume, that you should be able to look at any pin on Pinterest and be able to know exactly what technique that is and how to break it down. Not so much replicate it, but know how to do it, so that nothing really intimidates you. We intimidate ourselves.
Virginia asked, are you attaching the double bow to each tail ribbon or every other tail ribbon? I think you're every other.
It's every other. Yeah, because remember we put the buffalo plaid in the half bows? Yeah, just on the cardinal ribbon. And so I'm just adding these to the buffalo plaid to pop the green.
Right, Linda said never hurts to review.
No.
Valerie said I'm excited to get back to basics and business classes.
Plus, I'm a handout person. I don't know about you. I'm a like click print and give me a list. So we're going to do some more handouts so that when we get into the Deco mesh, there is something that I call a recommended basic Deco mesh inventory. these are like the same Deco mesh colors, and how many of each you should kind of keep in your inventory. That way you're good throughout the whole year. Now, it's not like these are guaranteed to last you a whole year. It's like these should be your rotating inventory that you backfill as you use them. And then you're never without, as you enter holidays, you should have your backup basic inventory to rely on to help get you through, like, oh, I don't have snowball mesh, but I have white iridescent mesh or silver that I can use in lieu of.
Lauren asked, do you have lower rates for over 65 on limited incomes?
I don't at this time.
Right. But she does have one of the lowest membership rates out there for any other crafter. Right?
Yeah, we started a long time ago. We had a legacy rate, but it was just for what we call people who just wanted to jump in at the very beginning. That's an interesting thing. That's going to have to be something I'm going to pray about over the Christmas break and see. That is a really good suggestion. And I encourage you guys to make suggestions like that, because a lot of times we don't think along those same lines. So I know we are doing a loyalty program in 2022 for our customers who purchase a lot from us throughout the year. You're going to get rewarded, and I'll tell you guys more about that in 22, how we're going to integrate that program.
As long as it's worth every penny I spent. Thank you, Lorna.
Interesting. Okay, so last one, and then we will make our bow, add our sign, and finish up with some embellishments that hopefully will complete the entire theme. So you could do this entire design. This was my struggle today. Do I do this on an evergreen base and just put the mesh on top? Or do I just do basic buffalo plaid and then just pop the colors? Because I didn't want to go pine. I wanted to go more, what do you call it? Like holly and mistletoe, and not so much pine. So that's why I opted to not go with using an evergreen base, but you could. Okay, so there is our base so far. And this is where you're still going to see your phrase come apart. Not apart, but as you play with it, as you're moving ribbons or readjusting Deco mesh, you might have your threads. So if this is a concern, like, little things are, you need to trim up, you could take the entire thing and spray it with E6000 adhesive spray. It dries clear. It does not dry stiff. What it does is it helps lock the fibers in on those cut edges. It will still fray if you grab it and pull it, but it is geared to where it doesn't fray as much with just minimal handling.
And it's odorless.
And it's odorless and colorless. And I think the most that I worried about was it's an adhesive. Won't it make it stiff and hard? Not at all. But it does take 24 hours to dry. So let's make the bow.
Richard said it looks very nice.
Hi, Richard. How are you? Okay, so bow dabber, right? Oh my God. I have to tell you guys this thing about bow dabbers and the glue skillets. I don't know what the heck went on, but I was prepping for the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Bow dabbers, now, if you purchase them online, and I don't know where you're going to find them online for less, Amazon sells them for $55 now. When I bought mine 4 years ago, it was $15.99 at Hobby Lobby. So that's to show you where supplies now are going. The glue skillets are completely like crazy. And this is exactly what happened when I bought my Surebonder glue skillet right when I started in 2017. I bought it for, I think it was like $40. And then by the following year, it was like well over $100. So then some company got smart and they started making replica glue skillets. They're just 7-inch electric skillets. It doesn't really have a temperature gauge. It's more like of a line item that goes from low to high. And it comes with a lid. It was identical to the Charbonder glue skillet. Those were selling last month for $17 to $20 a pop. When I clicked on the most recent link, because I was like, oh, let's give away a glue skillet, they're $88 now. So I was trying to help some people in England. I was like, can you go to the UK Amazon and look up these? When I clicked on the link I sent them, I was like, oh my God, is it really, or is that like European rate? Sure enough, go back to the United States, they're $87 again. So we're back to square one with the glue skillets.
Well, no, she would just wait until the very end, and then she just spray the whole thing with the E6000.
Yeah. But if you're building it and you don't want to, spray your embellishments and you really want to get good coating, you can stop at this point, take it, spray it, let it dry, come back 24 hours later, add your sign, add your bow. But keep in mind that once you spray it, it's not going to prohibit it from fraying. So as you're playing with it, maybe adding a bow or moving items through the thing, you may get that additional fray and you might have to go back and, respray. So I prefer just build it, spray it, and then you're good. Okay.
Regina said, yeah, that's one thing I need with bow dabber. If you can wait, Regina, probably after the holidays, they'll probably come back down.
Or just look at them. Try Hobby Lobby, try Joann's, try Walmart, Michael's. Yeah, see if somebody else has them for a lot less. Generally, Amazon won't let anyone beat their price, so I'm hoping those drop. Okay, so I'm gonna finish with my mistletoe. So I think those are gonna be my colors in how I want to stagger them. Just because I like the cardinals, I like the furry edge, I like that look on the ribbon. So we're gonna start with our two-tone ribbon, or two-sided ribbon. We're gonna dovetail the edge, which is bring your wired edges together. Depending upon how high you come up on your fold, your destination point's always gonna be the same. It's the end of your wired ribbon. So this point here. So it doesn't matter whether you go from here to here or from here to here. Just do not go from the end of your fold up to the wired edge. You always want to go down towards the finish, towards nothing. That'll give you the dovetail. Otherwise, if you go the opposite direction, you get a point, an arrow. So depending upon how deep you like your V's, I'm going to hold these together a little bit more. You will come on the folded edge and then you get the perfect dovetail. Before wreath making, I did it this way. I'd cut in and hope that I hit them both in the middle. This way, however, it guarantees that you have a perfect dovetail edge.
Oh, Kathy, you think she said Walmart has it online for $27.99?
Okay.
So right now, that's not too bad.
Yeah. There you go.
Make sure it's the deluxe.
Make sure it's the large.
Right.
So because they have a mini and the mini only does hair bows, the large is the one that you want this size, which will basically be your all-purpose tool for a lot of stuff. So make sure it's the large one. Okay, we're going to go 10 inches in. We're going to pinch. I'm going to grab our bow dabber and we're just going to twist right where we pinched it. So we started with right side ribbon up, although this is two-side. Just depends what your preference is. As I go up and around, I'm going to kind of just gauge, twist and push it down. I always bring my bow dabber right back to the 10. This way, if I pull this out this way, I can see that I'm lining up on the 5.5 inch mark, which is what I want. Do the same thing, up and over. Just kind of guesstimate. That's right at 5.5. And then we'll pull it back out. for 10 inches here, and then dovetail again.
Can you verify it is the large?
It is the large?
Yeah. It's just not bad.
Yeah, pick that up if you need it. It's on your Christmas wish list. Make sure you tell someone to go get that for you while the price is that low. I cannot believe. I'm like, what the heck? Must be the supply chain is the only thing I can think of. Is they're just not getting restocks in, so they're taking what they have and raising the prices. So hopefully that gets remedied soon.
Karen said Kohl's has a 6-inch Toastmaster skillet for $11.24. That would be a good one. As long as it has like a temperature adjuster, you can adjust the temperature on it.
Yeah, something with a non-stick surface on the bottom, because when you turn your glue on, it's going to melt at whatever temperature your glue stick is designed to melt at. Mine doesn't have a specific temperature, so I can't say turn it to 400 or 425. You could probably look up, I use Gorilla Glue Sticks, so you could probably go to gorillagluesticks.com or gorillaglue.com and figure out what is the ideal melting point for their glue stick if you have the temperature gauge that you can preset to a specific temperature. So now we're going to go 9.5 inches for this one. And we're going to do 5-inch loops here. So it's going to be a 1/2 inch shorter on our loops, which ideally, when you're buying a bow, you should have smaller at the top and larger at the bottom. But as a designer, you don't have to do that. You can do it any way you want. I always say that bow making is like a recipe. It all depends on what your end product, what you want your end product result to look like. That bows are basically recipes that you either follow or you can change based on your preference. So this is just one that works for me. Okay. So as you can see, we're not really using an awful lot of ribbon. The more ribbon we're adding to our bow, the less ribbon we're actually using of each roll. Now we're going to use our green, which is from Craft Outlet. And I always recommend, because it's the one thing, we always go pretty patterns, pretty colors, pretty prints. I always forget how significant just a solid color ribbon can be in a design, and we forget that. Okay, this one's going to be 9 inches, and it's going to be a 4.5 inch loop.
So typical melting point of a glue stick is between 221 degrees and 239 degrees.
What's with 239? There's no 239 on a temperature.
Fahrenheit. Well, there is when you're up in a higher, like the wood, like our wood burner has temperatures that high.
Not 239. I would go like 225, 250. There's like, how do you get to? There's like no 230.
They said they melt that.
So what is it? 225 to
221 to 239. It's just the melting point. So between that point, that's where they say when it starts to melt.
Okay. So the melting point. Yeah, 221. I guess we could go just a tad above 220, right, on your glue skillet.
225.
Yeah, probably 225 to 250.
If it has the temperature in it.
You'll be able to tell when you get your glue skillet, look at the melting point. Sometimes you might have to adjust it if you want it a little bit more. You don't want it to burn, but you might want it a little bit more liquid-like, so that it's not like when you go to scoop it, it's not so thick that you're using a ton of glue for something you only need a little bit of glue for. Put these ones here. Okay.
Rita said she sent her Secret Santa package out today.
I'm working on mine. It's like on my large to-do list. I'm actually going to go do it tomorrow. I'm going to go pick it up and get that sent out. So yay, Secret Santa stuff should be going out. All the people who are participating in the Secret Santa should be making sure that their items are shipped by next week.
In the private group.
In the private group, yeah. For those that participated. So this one is an 8.5-inch tail with another 4.5-inch loop. Since we measured the green, if you want to just place your fingers in the loop, you can size your ribbon without having to keep placing it. Although you do have to measure out your final ribbon tail at 8.5 inches. So this is red Swiss dot. Swiss dot's like my ribbon of choice next to solid colors. And it comes in all the different colors and it just looks really nice. So it's good to have in your inventory. Because this is Valentine's Day, Christmas, 4th of July. Goes great in a watermelon wreath for the summer.
Yeah, so she sent hers.
Nice. Okay. The 1.5-inch buffalo plaid, they call it raised white stitching because it actually is like a painted on item. And this is from Crinkle Designs. Crinkle Designs has their own website. If you visit their website, crinkledesigns.us, the stuff that you see on their website, if you just enter the code 5050, you get 50% off all your items. So that, to me, is a huge money saver. This one is a 8-inch with a 4-inch loop. Do the same to the other side. Always make sure. And then back out to 8. And then our final one is going to be 7.5 inches for our ribbon tail length and 3.5 inches for the loop size. And our final one, this again is from 5th Street Studios. And dovetail, 7.5, twist, and then we do our 3.5-inch.
Yeah, Richard and Teresa, they always go for the patterns or the plaid.
Yeah, we go for pretties. But don't forget, it pairs so nicely with solids. Mm-hmm. So I always recommend having red, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, black, and white in your inventory.
I always remind you about solids too.
Yeah, Steve does too. Don't forget your solids. So if you have those, that can definitely, aid you in your creation. Oops. You need 7.5. And I recommend having them in 2.5-inch widths and 1.5 inches. Because then you can mix and match those with really pretty ribbon that might be on the pricier side. And you still turn out a great design.
Right, Richard said, use the solid to set off the patterns.
Yes. Like this green complements the mistletoe perfectly. Imagine if you did mistletoe and something else. I did. I was gonna.
Holly you're talking about?
It's mistletoe and holly on here, and pine, and cedar, and berries. But let's do red for the pipe cleaner. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up all of this. As I'm picking it up, I have my thumbs on the top and my index fingers on the bottom, and I'm pushing down and compressing all that ribbon. I'm going to transfer this so that I can go ahead and put my pipe cleaner directly through. I prefer pipe cleaner. Some people prefer just using floral wire. I just don't have enough hand strength to twist a wire tight enough to make sure that my ribbon won't come apart. So pipe cleaners work well for me, plus they color coordinate with all my other stuff.
That's also why you twist
the stack.
The
stack over the pipe cleaner. Yeah. As we get older, we are challenged in ways we never thought possible. Like I never thought losing hand strength would be an issue. And then all of a sudden one day you just can't twist the lid off of your creamer or your Gatorade bottle. So, okay, now before, this is an 18 by 24 inch by 3/4 inch cutting board. I just happen to have an extra one. I prefer to have something low and flat. Some people prefer tall and square. Whatever works for you is, you know, whatever you'd recommend. But it's nice to have a surface that allows you to sort and organize your colors and patterns of ribbons and then fluff it. Because the minute you go to put it on the wreath, I mean, you'll probably do one more final fluff, but sometimes it can get challenging. Sometimes the ribbon, if it's like a flannel plaid, is going to stick to sometimes some of that fabric or poly mesh that have the little, they're like little finger, like little edges, and they catch on all kinds of things. So I always recommend just piece of wood, 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick, local home improvement stores. Most of them have them pre-cut. Pick up an 1.5 to 2 inch C-hook that just screws down into that wood, and voila. This is super simple. It's easy to store. Almost everybody can store it next to their fridge, alongside, behind the door in your craft room. Super easy. And then you have it ready to go. So to sort, we're going to do tails or loops from tails. So as you start at the bottom from the top of my bow, loop here, tail here. Opposite side, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to pull my tail out here, my loop out here. So that if you were right next to me looking down, you're going to see tails and loops directly across. As we bring the next set down, we're going opposite. So I'm going to bring my tail over here and my loop over here. Go to the other side. We're going to do the exact opposite. So I'm going to bring my tail over here and my loops over here, so that now they're alternating each time I bring a layer down. So I'm going to take my green and we're following the buffalo plaid. So loop and tail. Here's my loop, here's my tail. At the top, loop.
Deborah, I just sent the link on how to join the private group.
Tail. Oh yeah. So if you want to join the private group, KatsCreationsNMore.com. You can sign up on the year or the monthly just by, it says want to join, click here to sign up, and then you can decide what option you want, and you can always change it later. Okay, here, same thing, loop and tail, loop and tail. And then finally, loop and tail, loop and tail. So look, if you were to mash it down, because people are like, you're fluffing as you go. No, I'm just kind of putting my hands in the loop and pulling them. So I have my tails here. If you want to integrate some of your tails in with your loops, designer's choice. You decide what you like. As I'm going to start to fluff, I'm going to put my fingers inside the loops and I'm going to pull up and out. Okay, same thing here, up and out, up and out. And then you can look as you're pulling your next, ribbon up, going, do I want the red on the edge, maybe have the green coming up between the plaid? Ooh, that looks pretty. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So we'll take the red, move the red over here. We'll find our green, pop that in the middle, and then we have the ones on the bottom. So the cardinal will go between the green and the red and white, and then it will also pop up between the green and the buffalo check on the other side. So we're doing, this comes here. And then I have this coming up in here. So up, up. And you can really give them really good tugs, pull up. That's why we pick wired ribbon. And then to put what's called the little arc or the curve back into your bow. I'm sure we all remember curling ribbon back in the day. You're just going to use your hands like scissors and just run those tails between your fingers. And then knock that one off. I'll have Steve grab that one for me. Push this one up here. Thanks, babe. Okay. Thanks. Voila! Our bow is all finished. Super simple. So this board allows me to put some force on my loops. This way you don't have, like, you know, sometimes you get these things that happen. I see these in photos all the time. You get these little weird burnt on the ribbon. When people are buying, you want to make it look as clean and pristine as you can. So that's why this board helps you be able to really open up all your loops. And then you're just going to slide it off the same way it went on. This gets stored back.
Hi, Elizabeth from Canada. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Jan said stunning bows. Sue said lovely bows.
Thank you. So we'll put the bow to the side. Let's put the sign on. Ooh, this is so pretty. I love this moment. So look, when you put your sign on your wreath and you see how your sign pops your greens, ties your reds in, the black now actually makes sense.
You got a little higher. It's got the light.
This, okay. Yeah. So the sign really comes alive. So we're going to go ahead and attach our sign. Mine's going to go a little bit towards the bottom right so that I have plenty of space up here for a really nice bow. Make sure that these will all be cleared. We're going to use the Beadsmith 1.5 millimeter hole punch to put holes in my signs. So they work just like a hole punch. And I've had the same pair for 4 years, going on 5. I have not replaced them yet. And you can get them on Amazon. You can also get just 1.5 millimeter to 2 millimeter metal hole punch at like Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. Go to the jewelry section. That's what these were originally designed for. And I am going to use floral wire. Because with fabric mesh, pipe cleaners get hung up on the fibers. You can still use it.
Deborah said just signed up for the yearly. Can't wait.
Thanks, Deborah.
She'll reach out to you later.
Yeah, just make sure you've gone over to the Facebook page. It should have redirected you to request to join. And then I will go in there and approve you. And you can take advantage of all the discounts from places like Pam and Crinkle. All those places do. We have an arrangement with them to offer our members a bigger discount. Who else do we have? Jane's Front Door Decor, Three Birds Nest. I'm trying to think. I had 4 this morning and then I was like, holy cow, I forgot one. There's a lot more on there. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. Go on in. Okay.
Crinkle.
Yeah, we did Crinkle, Three Birds Nest, Pam's, Jane. We're back to 4. There's another one I'm missing. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I build from the back of my signs and not from the side. This way when I go to put them down, the wire is under the signs, not out to the side. So I'm just going to kind of find a home for that. Then I will work this end down through my mesh, which happens to be right where one of my interior pipe cleaners was and has been removed, so that works out nice. Always want to make sure you secure it between a rail. I've had that happen before where I go and I think I hit it. And then I'm cleaning up the back of the wreath and I'm like, oh, completely missed a rail. Let me go ahead and fix that. Okay, so there's one. I'm gonna go ahead and gently pull some of my mesh away so it's easier for me to feather that. And we'll go ahead and do this one on this side. Same way. Gently pull up and then right to my frame. Okay. And we'll do here. I like using the 22 gauge wire just because it's a little bit stiffer. See what I'm saying? How it's overly clingy.
The pinky job is one of them.
Thank you. That's the other one, the pinky job.
I have a few more.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other ones. I just can't. I mean, it's great to have those relationships with those vendors. They're amazing.
She's got a vendor list in the private club too that shows all the discounts and where they're from.
Yeah. You can get discounts through the Square if you guys are doing craft fairs. There's just a ton. Let's go ahead and...
Plus you have access to all the private group videos all the way back to 2018.
Yes.
It's like 300 or something.
And the materials list. That's my favorite. Yeah. That was always my favorite, was having the materials list so that it was like a shopping list for me. I just print it, click on all the links that are there, and just start shopping. Okay, so what I've done, as you can start to see, is I'm grabbing some of the mesh that is underneath, like right in front of my half bows. I'm just gathering, pulling this up, and making sure it all likes to stick. And I like to ruffle the edges, because I don't like it when you just slap a round sign on it and you just see it's a round sign. It should feather the edge so that it looks more pleasing to the eye. And then I'm going to leave this one flat because this is where a bow is. So you just need to figure out which side of your bow do you like the best. And here,
Kathy snuck.
Huh?
Kathy snuck. She said, I looked in the private groups. It was not from memory.
And you think I would know. Okay. So I'm going to look at some of this and see how I want it to lay. So I'm going to pull this one down because I want my loops above. So I just want the loops of my bow just touching the edge of the sign. So this determines where do I place my bow. And again, you have to make sure, because now we're working with pipe cleaners. So you have to play that, how many times do you got to poke your pipe cleaner through a hole and hope that you don't have one of those little fibers caught on the end. Mm-hmm. And then of course it always wants to, there we go, I got it. Don't want to pull too hard because we fluffed, we don't want to collapse. So, and then now we are going to make sure all the edges line up where we want them to be. Make sure you got all your tails in the right direction. Now I can pull some of this out a little bit closer up here. Open, open, open. Okay, so there we have that. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this piece of cotton off. Is that better? Steve?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right. Now let's embellish a little bit on here. Let's bring a little bit more green in.
Yeah, so she just placed an order with Jane's Front Door Decor. Hope you put in the discount code.
Yes, always make sure.
Yeah. And then Laura said, each time I watch you, I'm more amazed of your talent. Thank you for your techniques and talent.
Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, now we have little miniature poinsettias. I had two different kinds. I had ones that, like, they looked way cool, but they're honestly way too big. Let me show you. That one's kind of weird. Like this size. Way too big. So I'd have to be like on a 36-inch wreath to use poinsettias this big. So we need to go smaller diameter. So I have a whole bunch of these, like the little poinsettias, and these came from Michael's. They had one that was like with the gold, I guess that would be boxwood, white poinsettias. So we're just gonna take some of the red and I am going to push the greenery up. If it will go up, let's push down. Why is it not moving up?
It's a beautiful. Barbara said your wreath is gorgeous. You should have showstopper for sure. Thank you, Rosario, for sending 800 stars.
Oh, thanks so much.
Awesome.
Lacking strength. There was just a bend in the poinsettia that was keeping it from laying where I would need it to go. Let's trim this down. Inkle it. I hear him purring a lot. So I'm just, okay, we're doing the rule of three, the triangle. So rule of three simply says odd numbers draw the eye. So if you have things in quantities of 3, 5, 7, draws your eye in, and a triangle. So like if you're doing a poinsettia, and a poinsettia, it's nice to have it in a triangle somewhere. You can also substitute 2 embellishments and a bow and make that a triangle. So I'm gonna look at that and see what I like. I like the placement where I have the first one. I'm just looking for a really good poinsettia. I'm liking this one. Again, push everything to the top. I don't need an overly large stem. And I'll look over here. Don't want to impact the words, so I have to be really careful. And I think that one's going to play too close. So let's go down.
That said, it's turning out so gorgeous. Those are some gorgeous traditional wreath. Sandy said, you are the best. Love all your videos.
Aw, thanks, Sandy.
And Richard said, her creations are always gorgeous. Thank you, guys and gals.
Okay, I like that look. So I've decided, I almost want to put 4, but I know I can't do that. So maybe that's going to be a place for some other something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the 2 poinsettias where these are at. And then we're going to add some more holly. So let me go ahead and trim this down just a bit. We're going to use Gorilla Glue, because Gorilla Glue and mesh are like the world's best friends. This is going to go in here, just like so. I'm going to go ahead and attach this one. Pull this one off. I do want to take the bottom because it's a little too thick. And now, there we go. I like to bend them so that they'll go just under the sign. And now this one will sit closer to where I wanted it to be. Okay, now got my poinsettias done. We're gonna add some holly. So I'm trying to decide how big do I want to go with the holly. I think I want, let's look. Hang on just one second. I think I like the way that looks. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a garland that's made up of poinsettias and holly, and I'm going to pull the holly leaves off. I need 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to attach these right where our double bows are. So I'm just going to put a touch of glue. I'm going to take my holly. I'm going to add it. I have to make sure that the leaves sit where I want the leaves to be. Do this. Are you tilting forward?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'll flip this around so you can actually see. Hold on. So we're just adding little touches of holly right to the center of that bow. So all I'm doing is putting a bead of glue right at the center, taking the little red pick part and placing that right in the glue, and then moving the holly so that it doesn't really impact the bow part. Let's do this one.
Debbie, yes, she did get your address yesterday, so you're good.
Yeah.
Debbie Tompkins was the day 2 winner.
Yes, it's already on the way. So I've already replied back to an email to give you the estimated date of delivery. But yeah. Okay, there's that one. We've got to get the one just under the bow. It's so easy to find because you just look for the green and the holly. So let's do this. Because consistency is everything. So even though you don't see it, you still need to make sure that it's there. And let's look at oh no. Let me see. I don't know if I want to put one in the center of the bow, or maybe it needs to go a little bit smaller. Let me, where did I put that other bow there here? So we have a cardinal. So we're going to put our cardinal in. Let's see what the other one looks like. I like this one better. He just has prettier eyes. Placement, placement, placement is everything. I like him down here. I didn't like him up there. Like down in here. Like right in here. But I don't want the mesh to squish him out of his spot. Like he's perfect right there. Look. So, couple things. Let me know what you think of where the cardinal is, and let me know if we should leave the holly and berries inside the bow, or should we take it out? So here's the way it looks now. Okay, here's how it looks without that in there. What do you think?
To me, I would say leave in.
Okay.
But let's see what the
rest of the people
rest
say.
of the group does.
The rest of the people. Let me see if I have a smaller one too. Maybe that one's just too big.
What do you think, gals and guys? Keep the holly in the center of the bow?
Look here, I put a smaller piece. Can you see the smaller one? Probably not see it. It's more smaller.
Yeah, it's much smaller. Judy said holly in bow. Mary said leave it in.
Okay.
Joyce said holly in the bow. And I think that was the bigger piece.
Okay.
What do you think? Sherry says I like it in.
Now I forgot which way I had it in there. Hold on a second.
Yeah, they're all saying leave it in.
Leave it in. Okay. Let me do it this way. Okay.
Linda said the cardinal is perfect where it's at. She loves the holly and the bow.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead now that I figured out how that needs to go.
Travis, where you got the cardinals?
Dollar Tree, believe it or not.
Oh.
And I've had them for a while. So I'm hoping Dollar Tree still has them. If not, you should be able to get them at Joann's or Michael's. And just look in their, whatchamacallit, natural section. I'm going to try to wire him in because he comes with wire.
Leave the bigger one in.
Okay.
And yes, cardinal.
I just have to get that thin wire to the bottom.
Thank you, everybody.
Up and over. And then he's got another wire to the bottom. And of course the other wire is really small. Let's see if we can find it. Of course not. It wouldn't be that easy. Which means it probably went someplace else. So we'll try. You're dealing with multiple layers. It's all bunched. There he goes. I got him. Because I wanted to wire him in.
Yeah, it's tough because you only want to be able to hide the wire too.
Yeah, well the wire's easy to hide. I just had to, it's like probably 30 gauge wire. So, yeah, it's hard to find and pull through. Okay, I think we're good. Let me fluff my bows really quick. And, because we had to reposition stuff. So, let's take this one down. Place this one on the door. So this is your average size front door. This is a 36-inch door. So keep that in mind when you are taking photos of your design. If you are using an indoor door to take your photos on, your wreaths will look larger than what they are. Because most people buy wreaths to put them on their front door. So if you take it on your interior door, they're much smaller. So this is 36 inches. So most people are looking at your photo going, okay, that looks good. I see some edge on either side of the door. Yeah, that looks good. So just make sure. And always make sure to include, if you're selling them, to include all your dimensions. How wide is that? How deep is that? And make sure all of your ribbon tails are straight. You don't want anything funky with a weird curve in it. You want to make sure all your glue threads are gone. You'd be surprised at the random stuff that shows up in your photos. all your loops are open. Make sure. Okay, that's our double. And our double. Let's make sure this one is up. Okay. I think that one's good. So this is available on our website. So that's KatsCreationsNMore.com. It's going to be under new product collection if you want to purchase that. It's the only one we're making for 2022. When you guys come back and join me on Sunday, we're making a New Year's Eve wreath for any New Year's, really. It's actually not a dated sign, so that if you purchase it, you can use it every New Year's, which is kind of nice instead of having a dated sign. So join me back here Sunday at 6 p.m., which is Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Private group individuals, I see you Sunday at 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern time. And that's all I have for you guys. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Huh?
You got the Wreath of the Month Club?
If you're interested in the Wreath of the Month Club, email me, because that's not a membership that is out and available on the website. It's just like private invitation only. So just go to KatsCreations777@gmail.com and say, hey, I'm interested in the Wreath of the Month Club. What can you tell me about it? And I'm interested in joining. Okay, well, have a great weekend, and thanks everyone for joining me. Don't forget, check out the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Look for the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway to look for the times each day. We post them various times so that everyone can participate. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.